Hello, and welcome to a special PPC edition of Ad Q&A Live with Dale Wilson and Sean Assad.
Yes, sir.
This is episode 21, special, guest appearance by the two of us. You don't get your normal host, Nick Sinitra, but today's topic is 7 Google Ad considerations for Q4 2019. Sean, do you want to give us a start?
Sure. Yeah. So we want to just jump right into the list right now.
Why don't we do a little intro?
Intro. Okay. So as Dale mentioned, my name is Sean. I am a senior media analyst here at adQ. I love Google Ads, Bing Ads to the next level or the next degree, and I'd say to a lesser extent Facebook Ads, but Google is pretty much my go-to. Yeah. So Dale.
Dale Wilson, PPC lead here at adQuadrant, almost exactly a year to the day. So super excited to be talking about the topics here. Just to cover it real quick, the 7 subjects that we're going to talk about are responsive ads, dynamic search, smart shopping, promotion extensions, and a couple tidbits around what's going to be going away for Q4. So looking at accelerated delivery and average position taking a leave of absence from the system. In terms of responsive ads, I think the two things that we've really started to embrace here is both responsive search ads as well as responsive display ads. I think the biggest thing for me is the ability to layer in a lot of different options. I think it's 15 different options in terms of images for responsive display ads, as well as several different text options that are associated with those ads or those images. And then on the responsive search side, the ability to put in, I think it's 15 different headlines and 4 different description options. And I think that again, the thing for me is really just the ability to let the system figure out the right combination in the right format. That's really ultimately going to drive whatever the goal is at the campaign settings level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the idea is to let the machine learn and pick and choose which combinations work for the right person at the right time. With responsive display ads, it's actually responsive size. So that type of ad format would give you much more reach, much more different placements. And again, with machine learning, it will figure out the right combination of image, headline for the right person at the right time.
Yeah, and as somebody who's been doing this for about 15 years now, the major boon that I see is just the ability to kind of avoid the historic legacy ad analysis that we always used to have to do to figure out, is it this particular description or is it this particular headline that is really driving performance. The system begins to figure that out for us and gives us a little bit more free time to do kind of what I would call a deeper sense of analysis. Do you want to talk a little bit about dynamic search?
We automated bidding as well. Yeah, so dynamic search ads are similar in the respect that you give a lot more control to the machine, to the AI to figure it out. So traditionally you'd have keywords, you'd have text ads that you would pick and choose and bid on. With dynamic search ads, you would essentially put in a dynamic search ad or dynamic search target, which can be the whole website. It can be various pages. It can be pages that contain a certain value like product, and Google will scan the target, index it, and come up with its own set of keywords that it thinks it should bid on your behalf. And it will also include a headline 1 and 2 for you. So based on the user's query, it will figure all that stuff out for you. It's super simple to manage. You just set it up, and yeah, I think that's the gist of it.
The one thing that I think I take away from dynamic search is that if quality score ultimately has what I would call a pretty massive impact on ultimately what we pay per click, but also ultimately what we pay for conversions, the ability to use the landing page and give Google the ability to search that page and tell us what is the most relevant content, I think it plays two parts. It allows for us to understand how does Google truly perceive the landing page, what are the kinds of search queries that it would associate with it, but it also allows for us to start capturing, quote unquote, the most relevant traffic, the most relevant search queries that are already going to be coming through the search engine, but ultimately directing them to the quote unquote correct landing page based on the content of the site. So that's something that I find very, very important.
And it's also best practice to have a dynamic search ad group within your campaign. So for example, if it's an apparel account and the campaign is for jeans, you have all your keyword, your brand and your non-brand keywords in there for jeans, blue jeans, denim jeans, etc. You also want to have a dynamic search ad group in there, sort of as a fallback that would capture the traffic, the queries for keywords or queries you did not anticipate. So it's really good to have that in the campaign, just sort of as a catch-all. And then you go in and analyze the search queries, just see the different headlines that Google generated, and you can expand your own managed keyword list that way as well.
Cool. The next thing that I think is probably a huge learning for us, probably over the last 9 months to a year, is the ability to use smart shopping. So essentially just taking your existing feed coming out of Google Merchant Center, already plugged into Google Ads, and just letting the Google system find the most kind of relevant place or position, whether it be on the Google Display Network, within the search results in the form of the legacy shopping position, or even places like Gmail, whatever that location is that's going to be kind of the most relevant to show your ad to the audience for their consideration. The ability to do that across so many different platforms, collecting so much information about shoppers, and really just kind of engaging them as often as possible in the right way, I think is incredibly important and useful. We've seen some very, very positive performance from Smart Shopping, and I'm honestly very excited about Q4, if for no other reason than to see exactly how far we can scale and still be efficient with many of our advertisers. Anything else you'd throw into Smart Shopping?
Yeah. So I guess in comparison to I guess the legacy or standard shopping, Smart Shopping has been around for about a year now. Before it was called Universal Shopping Campaign, USC. The main difference is it's much easier to manage, I would say. You don't have to bid on product groups. You don't have to upbid on audiences. It's essentially, as Dale had mentioned, you get way more reach, and it's almost plug and play. You can segment a feed and create multiple Smart Shopping campaigns, but if you just put all products in the Smart Shopping campaign, it essentially will bid for you and try and get you the most conversions. The most conversion value out of what it's bidding on. So in that sense, you have much larger reach, and it's very, very much easier, and it's smart, meaning there's a lot of machine learning involved. So we've seen great success with it, and I mean we're 100% have faith in that campaign.
Yeah, and I think probably the next logical point of discussion here is to talk a little bit about automated bidding and how it plays into the last three things that we talked about. So if we think of responsive ads as being essentially the ability to give the system several different variables, whether it be for search ads or display ads, and letting it really optimize the best ad format in the best location across multiple different opportunities, whether it be search or in the GDN. If we also think of dynamic search as being the ability to kind of capture that low-hanging fruit, but also essentially doing an analysis of the way that Google sees the landing page. I think that's a very valid way of looking at it. But then also looking at Smart Shopping and knowing that that's a really informative way to get across multiple different platforms, but in a dynamic, and also in a still very dynamic way. I think those are all very, 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 very important to understand. That they're all machine learning, but I think to layer in the automated bidding piece really kind of takes it to the next level. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you're using automated bidding?
Yeah, our automated bidding essentially relieves you from having to bid manually on keywords. My two favorite are actually my favorite is Target CPA, which is based off of max conversions. The beauty of smart bidding or automated bidding is it's it it's very advanced. It's machine learning, and it uses millions of different signals from various Google platforms to make auction level bids in real time. So that's something that a human being cannot do, no matter how many hours we spend trying. Um, yeah, again, my favorite is Target CPA, which is based off max conversions. So if you set a campaign on max conversions, and let's say you set a given budget of like $1,000 a day, with whatever budget you put per day, the smart bidding strategy is going to learn and try and bring as many conversions or as many transactions, put a cap on the amount it's going to spend for that conversion. So if you have $1,000 budget and you put a target CPA like a limiting of let's say $100 CPA, the algorithm is going to learn and try its hardest to find pockets of those people or users to convert. And if it cannot do that over time, it won't spend your $1,000. It will actually spend less until it finds that right balance. You have to be careful doing that, because if you set an unreasonable target CPA or don't give enough time to learn, it's just not going to perform. It's going to essentially start spending zero. And yeah, you'll be stuck figuring out why. So
I think the one thing that I often take away from the ability to use automated bidding is, over the course of my career in online marketing, I've probably changed bids for a million different keywords across a million different situations, but it's always been historic, right? It's always been historic changes based on historic data. At best, you were doing it the day after. You couldn't even necessarily do it day of because of data delay and other issues that limit your ability. But if really what you're just telling the system is, this is all that I'm willing to pay for a conversion, or this is the logic that I want you to apply to my bidding strategy, and you're letting that bid kind of find the right amount in order to get the right conversion at the right time. That to me clears up a lot of space. Again, I think of automated bidding as an opportunity to free up some time, so that we can work on other deeper analyses, and work on those conversations that we need to have with our clients.
Yeah, and focus more on the strategy. So everything we've talked about so far, it's essentially automation and letting Google's machines learn and do a lot of the bidding for you, or take a lot of the actions for you. And that's the direction Google is moving. So it's actually best practice. So our jobs as media buyers or PPC guys, whatever you want to call us, is now to control the machines, is now to pull the levers to guide the machines on how we want performance to be.
So we've talked a lot about automation and how to set up the system to kind of most effectively provide the right ad to the right person at the right time, for the right amounts. The other consideration that I think we should talk about going into Q4 is promotion extensions. We've found this to be incredibly useful, working with D2C brands that we don't want to reset our quality scores or reset our history of all of our ads in order to put some additional promotions into play. So often what that means is really just building a promotion extension that allows for you to say, I'm going to promote this certain percentage off, or this certain amount off of my product, for my product, over a given period of time, and here's the code to do it. And I think that's often, as I do a lot of auditing of potential clients and existing accounts, it's probably the number one extension that I see most often left off when I think it's going to be most impactful. A lot of people do very well with building out their site links, even building out some of the other extensions like callouts, etc. But I think promotion extensions are some of the most impactful and have some of the most the biggest potential, because we ultimately want to, if you think about it like this, we ultimately want to show off the savings that someone can have as a way to get them into engage in our ads when it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And Dale touched on it. Is if there's a promotion coming up, Labor Day sale, Labor Day weekend sale, Black Friday, you don't want to necessarily go in and create ads and create ad groups, because that wouldn't give enough time for the machine to learn necessarily, get a quality score, and then start optimizing bids, and you won't see that kind of performance out of it. Not to mention it takes time to do. Whereas promotion extensions, maybe it's neglected because it might be one of the newer extensions that came out, but promotion extensions are very simple to set up and relatively simple. And you can choose, oh yeah, from a dropdown, it's Labor Day weekend, so it will actually say that on the promotion extension. So in that sense, it's fairly simple to set up. And also to note, you can also do this in shopping. So through Merchant Center, there's Merchant Center
That's a very good
promotions.
point.
So you can actually have that promo extension on your shopping ads as well.
Cool. And then just to start to wrap things up, the other two things that we want to kind of make sure and discuss that I think very much tie into the discussion of automation that we've been referencing so far is the fact that Google's got a couple legacy things that are going away as of September, as of the end of September, the beginning of October. So accelerated delivery. Everybody for a very, very long time has been using that. I'm personally actually perfectly fine with seeing this go away. I think that accelerated delivery has, as we've been using more and more automated bidding, as we've been using more and more kind of average position, lost impression share due to budget, things like that. Accelerated delivery has kind of lost its way. It's lost its meaning and necessity. So seeing the ability for us to rush to spend go away, I think is a perfectly fine thing. The other thing that to disappear is average position. Again, this is something that I think is very much being impacted by new metrics like lost impression share due to budget, lost impression share due to bid, which I think are a lot more telling to ultimately the end goal of transactions, conversions, and these target CPAs and target ROAS goals and metrics that we've been looking at. What are your thoughts on accelerated delivery and average position?
Accelerated, yeah. These are. I mean, Dale said it. These are old metrics that are being sunsetted. Essentially, accelerated delivery versus standard delivery. Standard will space out your budget for the day. Accelerate will just, if anyone's searching for it, it's going to serve. So you might run out of budget. With accelerated delivery, and now there's automated bidding strategy or smart bidding strategies, max conversions, target CPA. Target ROAS, where the machine will actually know when to bid, when it's going to be impactful, and one day it might spend more than your average daily budget, or one day it might spend less, but it will average out over the course of the month. So having an accelerated delivery versus standard delivery, there's no need to have accelerated, because the smart bidding strategy will know. It will know when to bid for you and when not to bid. And if the budget is not enough, it will let you know, hey, you need to increase your budget here. So accelerated delivery, the machines are pretty much taking that into control. So that's going away by October 1st. All campaigns on accelerated delivery will default to standard delivery. And through my experience, anyways, I haven't seen any campaigns going into learning phase or any real issues switching to standard delivery so far. Knock on wood.
And what about average position?
Average position, yeah. Again, if the average position is 4, are you on the second page? Or are you on the first page? Or if it's 2, like what part of the page did you really rank? Was your position? So it's a vanity metric. It's cool just to say position. I'm bidding to position 1. But in reality now we're looking at impression share, top or absolute top impression share lost to rank, to budget. So those metrics are more telling and I think more impactful. You can actually even set a bidding strategy target impression share. So if you want your impression share to be 100%, I wouldn't advise doing that, but you can do that and get 100% of all impressions. On that note, I would recommend 95%, no more than 95%, just for efficiency's sake. But yeah, average position, it's a vanity metric. I used to use it. I don't use it anymore. And now I look at loss in per share due to rank and budget.
I think that's it. Feel free to post any questions or follow-ups that you'd like for us to consider. Thank you for joining us to the special PPC edition of Ad Q&A Live. This is episode 21. 7 Google Ads considerations for Q4 2019. And thank you very much. This is Dale Wilson.
And this is Sean Assad.
Thank you.
Thank you.